Let's go. We're rolling episode seven. Seven. This is seven, right? Seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's up, folks? It's Friday. It's August 13, 2020. What are we doing? What are you guys' plans for today? What's going on, folks? Episode 7. I'm excited to get this going, get more content out, get more people in the show, talk about more art, and for you guys to have more content to see. So last episode 6, we had artist, photographer who came down to the podcast and talked about his work. So shout out to Emiliano Aguirre for taking time out of his day to talk to us. And today we have a filmmaker from Salinas, California, Brian Aguiar-Gonzalez. So let's talk about him. Brian Aguiar-Gonzalez is a cinematic arts and technology graduate from CSUMB. Most of his work is documentary experimental and focuses on editing. And born in Salinas and raised in Yuma, he's been living in the east side of Salinas ever since he's moved back, and have grown very prideful of it. Despite all the negatives people tend to focus on, he hopes to use his skills and that he's learned at CSUMB to give back to his community and help local artists to further improve his personal work. So let's bring him in, Brian Aguiar-Gonzalez. Yo, what's up, Brian? How you doing, man?
What's up, Carlos? Doing good. How about you?
Doing good, man. It's been a while since we catched up, man. You still watch hockey?
Yeah. Even though the even though the Sharks are kind of like sucking still, but still got to be a fan.
All right. How do you feel about this whole pandemic and how sports have been playing out? Obviously, I feel like you're a big sports fan. How do you feel about this whole
Yeah,
situation?
yeah. I was actually watching Champions League today, and it's so weird not seeing the crowd or hearing the crowd, or like they had to add like the background ambience of the whole crowd cheering and
Right,
everything.
right.
I mean, it's pretty interesting. I feel like it messes up with like the dynamics of like home play and away play, because there's like
Yeah,
no fans to like intimidate or like the whole thing.
right. But do you think it makes the game more intense? Like people are more able to focus, or the players are able to focus more on the game itself?
Yeah, I think so, but I think it also like impacts them in a bad way because they don't have like the fans to sort of like give them the little boost or the little energy
Right,
boost to like hype them up again, to get them playing to how they're supposed to, getting thinking straight. But
right, right.
I feel like they're more stuck in their mind when there's no fans.
Did you watch the Barca game today?
Yeah,
Man, that was
that
tough.
was crazy.
That
Yeah,
was
that's
tough. 8-2.
like I'm not a Barca fan, but like it's hard to see a team lose that bad or like that crazy.
That's
Like,
wild, man.
yeah.
That's an ass whooping, bro. But anyways, what's up, bro? Tell us what's going on. How's the family? How you been handling this pandemic?
My family's been good. We've just been like we just keep working, still trying to live our normal lives as much as we can, but we're still trying to be safe and like social distance and everything.
Right.
Um, I've just been working on like a side job. I just go to Watsonville. Luckily, where I work, there's not many people there already, so it's not that like um hard to like get the virus or anything. But I still wear my mask just in case. It can never be too safe.
Right, right. And as far as your personal work, what have you been working on currently?
Work like work or like artwork or like
Artwork, yeah, like your
artwork.
projects, your stuff. What have you been doing?
Um, I've kind of just been like revisiting old stuff I've done and trying to like add more things that I could have like that I didn't think of at the time,
Hmm.
or just kind of like making them a little better, cleaning up the little things. Also, kind of like just sort of I've been theorizing another project, but I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah. How's the creative process for you? Is this a regular thing where you go back to projects and you edit them and you add things that could have made the overall work more dynamic, or is this just something that now that you have time due to the pandemic, you're just trying to get trying to be, productive?
Yeah, I'm just trying to be productive because I mean, 'cause, 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 I me before work, I was just going to school, and
Mm-hmm.
I was focusing on the assignments at school, so I really didn't have time to work on my own personal work. But now that I do, I have been going back, just trying to fix some things that I didn't see before,
Right.
or that like I thought of, or like I was like, oh, I should have done that or something. So I just go back.
Do
But
you,
when it goes to like creating new work,
uh-huh.
like it usually just happens, like it's really slow process because I just think it's just all in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So like especially at work, since like the job is kind of like it gives you a lot of time to think.
Yeah, that's me
So I'm
too.
just always just like thinking like, okay, so how could this go? Or like what shots could I do for this type of theme, or like stuff like that.
Right. So for you're obviously you're a filmmaker, you make films. For when you're creating work, do you have predetermined locations you want to go to? Or is this just based on feel? Is it based on, okay, I have this project, I could probably shoot this scene to make it better? Do you have predetermined locations, or is just whatever the project needs?
Um, it's mainly whatever the project needs, but if I could fit in a location that has like some sort of meaning to me, I will.
Mm-hmm.
Like with my last project that I did for school, my capstone thing,
Mm-hmm.
pushing Mongo. It was at the skate park here in Salinas, and that spot I remember,
Hmm.
like before I moved out of Salinas, I remember like following my brothers over there to that skate park and just like
Yeah.
riding the board like on my freaking ass. But
Yeah.
so it's kind of like I try to like tie it into that. And when I was in high school, I used to skate a lot, and I would go to the skate park in Arizona a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I also, I couldn't go to Arizona to shoot the movie, so I was like, I'll just do the next best thing,
Mm-hmm.
to go to Salinas and right by my hood.
Right, right. So how do you approach work? Do you like your projects, is it, say like a personal project, is it emotion based? Because obviously you said you're experimental filmmaker. How do you approach new work? Does it come from imagination, from experiences, from emotions? What's that process like?
I'd say experiences and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get on Celtics sometimes and I'll write ideas down, or like
Mm-hmm.
um words down, sentences or whatever, just to like get a certain idea of how I want the project to go. But mainly it's pretty much just like oh, damn, I'm blanking out.
Been good, man.
What was the question again? What was the question?
How do you approach your work? Like, is it based on like new work? Is it based on emotion? Is it based on experiences, or based on things that you're going through in your life, and you're like, okay, I want to put it in motion. I want to put these feelings in audio. How do you approach that process?
Oh yeah. Then yeah, I'll get on Celtics. I'll write down like what's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to like sort of give it a poetic feel.
Mm-hmm.
Um Especially since it's like very emotional, like it's very personal. So I try to like make it also like hard hitting in that
Mm-hmm.
sense. Um uh but yeah, it's usually in my mind, or I'm just writing it down on Celtics, or I'm like sort of getting ideas from like stuff I've seen, or like
Right.
old home movies, or like other stuff like that. Just trying to find a common theme, or like something that ties the whole like thing together.
Yeah, make it all flow. When people see your films, when people see your stuff, what's the most important thing that you want them to take away from it? Is it the storytelling? Is it the cinematic feel? Is it the sound? Is it the color correcting? When people see a Brian Aguiar-Gonzalez film, what do you want them to know?
Um, well, it's probably going to be really pretty depressing, but like kind of real and emotional and raw, I'd
Mm-hmm.
say.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of my stuff has been like really like just from the heart. Like I don't try to like filter it or clean it up. Like it's really just been like my words, like, and some of it sounds really sad, but it's just like you really need to have that outlet sometimes, and you need to
Right.
like let yourself feel vulnerable in order to like sort of become stronger, or like get stronger, sort of
Yep.
get a little more like over your fear of like the whole feeling of that.
Right. So obviously, yeah, exactly. You put in your personal self, you put in your emotions, your thought. into a project that people are going to see, people might critique, people might like it, people might not. How do you go about that? How do you go about people seeing your, how do you feel about people letting people into your personal world and people critiquing your work?
I just hope they get something out of it, whether it's like a lot of my work is based on my dad, and my dad passed away like in a car accident. So I always like whenever people see like the film about my dad, the first one, I always want them to just be like appreciate like your family, like that they're there right now, because you know they could be gone tomorrow, or like it could be like a bad accident, and so that's kind of like the main thing I want people to realize, that like hold your loved ones close, and like whether stuff could be like bad, like it could be bad relationship or whatever, like they're still family, and like sometimes they're like the only people you got left.
Unfortunately, bro, I did hear about that accident, and I feel like knowing you from the years, I feel like that's affected you emotionally, but also made you stronger. And the thing too is, bro, honestly, my dad almost passed away too, about almost 4 years ago, actually. No, 3 years or 2 years. And man, I can't imagine losing a father, man. I can't imagine losing somebody somebody you looked up to your whole life, somebody who's been there and always wanted the best for you. How have you dealt with that? It seems like you've put all that. I don't want to speak for yourself, but you put all that anger, all the emotion, all that self, pain into your work. How else have you dealt with that pain?
Um, well, sometimes I'll go visit him and I'll just hang out. Like I'll just lay down. That's like another spot where I think of ideas too. Like I'll just chill with them, or um let's see. Well, I don't know. It's weird because like I feel like I have like a fixation on the theme of like death, especially. I know it sounds really like depressing and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really interesting, and like that's also like kind of like the next project I'm still theorizing. Like it's gonna be like sort of me questioning like death and like why he does the things, or like stuff like that. But um I'm sorry, I might have like not answered that like actually, but
No, you're good, man. That was powerful. I think that's um, a lot of a powerful point to the whole podcast, because the beautiful thing about bringing people into this podcast is just about different experiences, people sharing their personal opinions and their thoughts and emotions. But on a more brighter note, how was Yuma, man? How was Arizona? How was that experience like?
it was hot.
Damn, I could
It
imagine.
was just like oh man, it was just like I mean, every time I go, I always hang out with like my old like friends. So it's always like I'm back there, like I never left.
Really?
That's the cool thing about over there. Like the homies are still like the homies, and
Yeah.
like it's like we just pick up where we left off pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool seeing like my brothers and visiting friends and family and all that. Like I kind of miss Yuma, but Salinas is my home now.
Do you want to stay in Salinas for the whole rest of your career? Or do you see yourself moving out in order just to
Yeah,
branch
I
out to
think
more opportunities?
um I'd like to stay in Salinas if I can. Like I don't want to like leave my mom or my family, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to stay close by at least, because I'm not like too keen on like going to LA or like a big city like that. Like I know you went and you like it was probably like super cool for you, but I'm just
Thank
not
you,
a fan
man.
of like big cities like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like farthest I'd probably go is maybe like SF or like Oakland
All right.
or San Jose,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd like to stay in Salinas if I can.
Mm-hmm. If you were able to go to those cities that you mentioned, um, Oakland, San Francisco, LA, San Jose, what kind of work would you create? What are you aspiring to be? If you're obviously you want to put your name out there, what kind of work would you create, and what kind of things would you do for people to see your work?
Hmm. Hmm. I never really thought of that, because I remember I've always wanted to go to the cities for like an actual job, like in editing or like in
Mm-hmm.
filmmaking, and being part of like an organization. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe like maybe if I would, I'd go for like a nonprofit organization or like maybe a sports team. Because I've
Mhm.
always like that was like a career goal, like being a media creator or like something for like the 49ers or the Sharks
Oh,
or the
bro.
Earthquakes, like something with sports, like being like a sports like
Yeah.
in that industry would be really cool too. Or like I don't know, there's like a lot of things I want to do, but I feel like I'd choose that if the opportunity came to it.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful too, man. Because I remember, like I said, we used to go to Shark Team, and
Yeah,
and
we
man, I
met
used to.
Thornton, bro.
Did we?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have that picture, I think, that's
Oh
with
yeah,
Joe Thornton.
that was I think Fan Week or
The,
something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I also too. I remember being in those games, and I remember seeing the video production of the whole pregame of the promo to hype up the game, and seeing just the whole promotions, all the packages are on social media and
yeah.
online. It's cool to do that, man. Would you like to pursue that eventually? I mean, also too, like you say you want to do of everything. What's the most important thing you want to accomplish in filmmaking?
In filmmaking, I think finding and having like a set like artistic identity, because I feel like I'm
Mhm.
all over the place, honestly. But
Yeah,
that I know like
absolutely.
so far with the stuff I've done, it's been like mainly like personal work, and I think I'm gonna keep doing personal work like that,
Hmm.
just so I can like have an outlet for like my feelings and like emotions and all that, and
Hmm.
maybe people can get something more out of it. But I also kind of like I've never really seen myself as like a narrative filmmaker,
Hmm.
so I don't know if I do narratives, maybe once in a while, but I'd also like to do like documentaries. If I could like get more into documentary filmmaking, like that'd be really cool
I
because
could
like
see you
that's
doing that.
probably more. I'm more like the realism instead of like the nonfiction, or not the nonfiction, the fiction.
You like
But
the real and raw stuff, man. You like the just to tell stories through film and sound.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yeah, I always
exactly.
wanted to do recently I've been getting into videography, man. Let me tell you, man, like the reason I've never pursued this is because it's a lot of work. Organizing those files, shooting on location, having enough work, and then going to production and color correcting and making
It's a lot
snippets.
of steps.
Dude, man, how do you keep yourself sane when going through these stuff, bro? Because like let me tell you, man, I did a short 4 minute video on YouTube, and it was super simple, like no transitions, no nothing. It was just basic color correcting, everything flowed, everything good. It
Hmm.
wasn't anything, I guess, high production. How do you stay sane doing these crazy like editing and doing all yourself? Because I know it's not easy.
Yeah, it's a lot of time,
It's a lot of
definitely.
time and energy.
Um, yeah, luckily for like, well, at least for my capstone, I had help kind of in like the editing and like putting together like the clips and making sub clips of like the shots. Because
Hmm.
when I shot the thing, it was like on tape, so I had to like digitize it,
Hmm.
and then I had to go split it. But I had somebody else do like the splits for me,
Hmm.
so that was a lot of help. But I had to like sync audio, and I had to like do the assembly edit, and I had to do everything. But I mean, I kind of wanted to do it like that, like myself, because
Hmm.
the movie itself or the film itself is like a neo-realism French New Wave type of feel. Like I was going for that style, and the French New Wave is pretty much people, like everyday people just making films with real people. So like they're using like cheap camera equipment. Like they weren't going too crazy like with the editing like Hollywood was. It was
Hmm.
definitely like it was definitely about rebelling against Hollywood standards.
Hmm.
So I kind of try to go for something like that.
Hmm.
Um, to stay sane, like it's if you have people with you, like it's gonna be fun because you're just like talking to them. You're just talking
Yeah,
about a bunch of different things.
yeah.
But if it's by yourself, like I just listen to a lot of music, or like if I don't have to listen to sound, I'll listen to music. But if sound is really necessary, then I'll dial in. I'll focus on that. But it's just really time consuming.
Hundred
But
percent.
like, but I mean, if you're ambitious enough and like you really want to put in like all the time and work to do all that, then
Hmm.
it's up to you. But it could be done. It could be
Hmm.
done.
Have you ever thought about using YouTube as a platform to get your stuff out? Or are you right now are just doing things on low key and just, at your own pace, at your own time, and once you're ready to hit to go big, bam. YouTube, what would your platform be to upload your work?
Um, I'd say Vimeo. I think YouTube is too volatile for like making a living. I mean, it's good to like put your video out there, but there's so many things that could like get your video taken down on YouTube.
Hmm.
That's actually where I started like my whole kind of career path, I guess. Like
Hmm.
where that's where the idea came through because I started making Call of Duty montages on YouTube and I'd upload them and I'd edit them and I'd do everything. So I
Yeah.
kind of started getting familiar as with the whole editing process and uploading process and all that like
Hmm.
like years ago, say like 10 years ago. But
So is that how you got
um
inspired to do filmmaking?
yeah, um
Hmm.
pretty much actually because I was originally going to be like a computer science major. So
Oof.
I was going to Hartnell for that. I was taking like all these math classes.
Oh man.
Um, I took calculus and I passed it with a B. And after that, I was just like, I don't like computer science. I don't like this whole thing.
Hmm.
So I kind of like had like a little, I'd say like a little breakdown. I was just like, I don't know what I want to do because my whole life I've been like told like, you know, go to college, get a, study a good major and get a lot of money, same thing everyone's been told. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that though, because I don't really care about money like that. I just want to
Right.
like be happy and like try. Yeah, I just want to be happy pretty much. So
I
I
love
just
that.
like,
Love that.
I was like, you know what? I was really good at editing or I'm really familiar with it already. And I'm gonna just pursue it. So I
Hmm.
went to like the counselor at Hartnell and I asked him if there was anything like any colleges with like a transfer program to film. And
Hmm.
he told me three things. He told me LA, SF, or Monterey or Seaside. And I was just like,
Stay
I'll
home.
go Seaside. I never heard anything about it, but I just went for it because it was close to home and luckily it turned out to be like a really good school to study film in. I
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
recommend it if you're interested in like film or anything. Like
Right.
check out CSUMB, don't count it out. They have a lot of good equipment and a lot of good teachers.
Uh-huh. Tell us
It
about that.
was
Tell us.
really like it really made me like enjoy like filmmaking, the whole
Yeah. Yeah.
process and everything a lot more.
Hmm. Tell us about Season B. Tell us how that experience was and how it's shaped you as a filmmaker today.
Um, it was a lot of fun. It was at first like I felt like kind of like an outsider because a lot of the people there are like super into film,
Hmm.
and me like I've never really been like hardcore into like film movies like that. But I like the Star Wars movies. I like some classics. I like Godfather. Like I like all those stuff. But
Yeah,
I
for
never
sure.
been like super into it. But you start to like make friends and you start to like find people with similar styles and you start seeing like work like that's really like different and pretty badass and
Hmm.
like you get inspired like that. So it was like really enlightening and inspiring for me to like attend the CART program at CSUMB because
Right.
I learned a lot. I met a lot of cool people and I got a better understanding of how like a film is made,
Hmm.
like the whole process, the editing, the color
Hmm.
correction,
Hmm.
all that, set
And
experience, everything.
and as a filmmaker, what's more important to you? Is it the color correcting? Is it the sound? Is it storytelling? What's the most important key for your stuff?
For me,
Composition.
I guess it'd be storytelling
Hmm.
or like theme symbolism for me, because that's kind of I try to be heavy on all that. But I guess generally speaking, maybe like audio, because you could definitely tell bad audio more than you could tell like a bad shot, like bad focus or something.
Right.
So
No.
you definitely got to make sure your audio is like
I,
100. Because if it's not,
100.
people are gonna tell. But it's gonna be really jarring to like hear the cuts of like the audio spikes and all that. But
Yeah.
for me, I guess it'd be yeah, symbolism,
Hmm.
storytelling,
Hmm.
trying to just like tell like yeah, trying to like tell an experience, I guess.
Do you spend a lot of time studying films, or is this just I like film. I like to make films, but I don't like to watch it. Or
I
what's
like
that
to
like
make
for you?
films, and I kind of like to watch movies. I guess growing up, I've never really gone to like the movie theaters that much,
Oh, okay,
watch
interesting.
movies that much.
Yeah, yeah.
It was sort of like, I don't know, I wasn't really into like the stories that much. I was more into like editing and doing all that. So that's why when I did the Call of Duty stuff, like it was editing and like putting, syncing audio and all that. But going to CSUMB made me realize that a story could be like simple and good. Like it doesn't have to be super complicating or like,
Right.
or it doesn't have to be like Hollywood standards. Like it doesn't have to have like so many like lore. Like it could be something really simple and be really solid and be like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So that really changed like my outlook on how I approach like movies or like filmmaking.
Okay. And looking forward to the next 5 to 10 years, how would you like, what would you like to be in life and with your work? Do you want to pursue things you want to pursue in the past with your work, or how do you see yourself? How does Brian look at himself in looking forward in 5, 10 years?
5, 10 years. I mean, I'm pretty simple, I guess. I'd have I'd just make sure I'd be like financially stable, and as long as I have enough time to do independent work,
Hmm.
like I don't care where I'm at. Like as long as I'm able to like financially like maintain myself and
Yeah.
be able to do like my own work,
Right.
I'd love that. Like working, like I could work in the fields, and like as long as I make enough money to like to freaking survive and like be able to make my own movies and stuff, like that'd be fine with me.
That's awesome,
But
man. I love that
hopefully
mindset.
like I could find like a good job with that actually involves like what I studied for. But
Right.
when if life happens, if this pandemic still keeps going, it's going to be a little difficult, but I hope I could find something.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming to the show, bro. Last couple quick fire questions, bro. Just to end it with a good
Yeah.
overall feel. These will be fast questions. Think about it and just shoot. Favorite color?
Red.
Favorite soccer team?
Um, Atlas and Arsenal.
Okay. Favorite camera to shoot with?
Um, I mean, I've only shot with a couple cameras, but I really like the Sony VX 1000. That was the camera I shot like my capstone with.
Okay. Favorite food?
Favorite food, pizza,
Ooh,
popcorn,
nice.
sopa maruchan.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with that, man.
All that stuff.
That's a must when you broke, man. And 3 words that would describe you.
3 words that would describe me. Okay. I guess fearless,
Mm-hmm.
um, dark,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I don't know.
Integrity.
I mean, my username is integrity, so I guess responsible or like anything that falls under that
Incredible.
category.
Awesome, bro. Thank you so much, Brian. Appreciate you for taking time of your day for coming up for episode 7. Where could people find your work?
On my Vimeo page, it's like a random URL, but I mean, I could send you the link and maybe you can
Yeah,
look
no,
it up.
definitely.
But it's usually just Vimeo where
Mhm.
all my stuff is at.
Cool. Yeah, no, definitely. We'll provide a link for that Vimeo so people can check out your stuff and hit you up. So thank you so much,
Cool.
bro. Hope you stay
Yeah,
safe.
thank you for having me.
Hope the family stays safe. And I'm looking forward to seeing your work. And let's catch up soon, man.
Yeah, same, bro.
Cool.
All
Thank you, bro.
right, thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Yeah, you too, bro.